What would you do if a single moment of injustice stripped away your freedom? A 17-year-old black teen, just trying to get home, is slammed against a precinct wall by a cop while the entire station watches in silence. No one speaks. No one moves. But what they didn't know was this teen had something up her sleeve that would turn the tables on everyone. Ready for the truth. Her name was Aisha, a 17-year-old high school senior with dreams of becoming a lawyer. She was the kind of kid who carried a worn-out notebook everywhere, scribbling ideas for her future. Walking home from her part-time job at a corner store in her small Ohio town, she was just another face in the crowd, until that night. It was late, the streets quiet, when a patrol car screeched to a stop beside her. The officer, a man with a reputation for being untouchable, barked her name like he'd been hunting her. Aisha Williams, you're coming with me? No explanation. No warrant. Just a hand on her arm, dragging her toward the precinct. The air in the station was thick with tension. Aisha's heart pounded as she was shoved against a cold concrete wall, her cheek pressed into the rough surface. The officer, let's call him Officer Grant, loomed over her, his voice low and menacing. You know why you're here, he said. But she didn't. She'd done nothing wrong. The other officers, some sipping coffee, others shuffling papers, stood frozen. Not one met her eyes. The silence was deafening, a betrayal in itself. Aisha's mind raced. She'd heard stories about Grant, how he targeted kids like her, how he'd built a career on fear. Rumors swirled about a recent robbery at a local pharmacy, and the town was on edge, desperate for someone to pin it on. Aisha, with her hoodie and her black skin, was an easy target. But something didn't add up. Why her? Why now? As Grant rifled through her backpack, tossing her notebook to the floor, she caught a glimpse of something. A file on his desk with her name on it. That's when she knew. This wasn't random. Someone had set her up. The pharmacy robbery had been the talk of the town. Prescription drugs stolen, a clerk injured, and no clear suspects. The community wanted answers, and Grant wanted a win. Aisha, a straight-A student with no record, was the last person anyone would suspect, except, apparently, him. He claimed an anonymous tip pointed to her, backed by grainy security footage showing a figure in a hoodie. That's you, he said, pointing to a blurry screen. Aisha's stomach dropped. The figure could have been anyone, but the accusation was already sticking. Handcuffed and led to a holding cell, Aisha's fear turned to anger. She wasn't just being accused, she was being framed. The silence of the other officers gnawed at her. Why weren't they questioning this? She overheard Grant on a call, his voice smug. What got her? Case closed. But Aisha wasn't going down without a fight. In the cell, she replayed every detail of that night. She'd been at work during the robbery, her alibi airtight. Her boss, Mr. Carter, could vouch for her. So why was she here? Then it hit her, the file on Grant's desk. It wasn't just her name. It had a photo, her address, even her class schedule. Someone had fed him a dossier on her life. This wasn't a random tip. It was personal. Aisha's mind went to her classmate, Jenna, a girl who'd always resented her. Jenna's father was a sergeant at the precinct, a close friend of Grant's. Aisha had beaten Jenna for a scholarship last month, and the bitterness had been palpable. Could Jenna have orchestrated this? The next morning, Aisha was allowed a phone call. She called Mr. Carter, who confirmed she'd been at the store until closing. But when she mentioned the footage, his voice faltered. Aisha, I heard they're saying you left early. That's not true, right? Her blood ran cold. Someone had tampered with her alibi. The setup was deeper than she'd thought. Grant's smug face flashed in her mind as he'd tossed her notebook. That notebook, her lifeline, filled with her thoughts, her plans, her truth. She had to get it back. Aisha's public defender, a tired man named Mr. Ellis, didn't inspire confidence. He urged her to plead guilty for a lighter sentence. The evidence is stacked against you, he said. But Aisha refused. She'd seen enough courtroom dramas to know she needed proof, not just passion. Her one chance was that notebook. She'd written in it the night of the robbery, time-stamping her shift. If she could get it to Mr. Carter, he'd back her up. Getting out on bail wasn't easy. Her mom, a single parent working 2 jobs, scraped together every penny. Released after 48 hours, Aisha went straight to the precinct, demanding her belongings. Grant smirked, handing over her backpack, but the notebook was gone. Must have been misplaced, he said. Aisha's heart sank, but she noticed something. Grant's desk was messier now, papers scattered. She spotted a corner of her notebook peeking from a drawer. She couldn't grab it, not yet. Aisha turned to the only person she trusted, her best friend Malik, a tech-savvy kid who'd hacked his school's Wi-Fi for fun. Malik dug into the pharmacy's security system, finding the original footage. It wasn't Aisha, it was a taller figure, wearing a hoodie with a distinct logo. Aisha recognized it instantly. Jenna's brother, a dropout who ran with a rough crowd. The pieces were falling into place. Jenna's jealousy, her father's influence, and Grant's eagerness to close the case had created a perfect storm. Malik and Aisha devised a plan. They'd confront Jenna at school, record her reaction, and get the notebook back. Aisha approached Jenna in the cafeteria, casually mentioning the robbery. Jenna's face paled, her eyes darting. "I don't know what you're talking about," she stammered. But Malik was recording. Later, he hacked into Jenna's social media, finding DMs to her brother about teaching Aisha a lesson. The evidence was mounting, but Aisha needed the notebook to seal the deal. She returned to the precinct under the pretense of filing a complaint. While Grant was distracted, she slipped behind his desk, grabbed the notebook, and hid it in her jacket. Inside, she found more than her notes. A handwritten memo from Jenna's father, instructing Grant to make it stick. The betrayal ran deeper than she'd imagined. Aisha's hands shook as she realized the entire station might be complicit. Armed with the notebook, the footage, and Jenna's DMs, Aisha took her case to a local journalist known for exposing corruption. The story broke online, going viral overnight. The footage of Aisha being thrown against the wall, captured by a precinct camera Malik had hacked, sparked outrage. The twist: Jenna's father wasn't just covering for his daughter, he was protecting his own involvement in a larger drug ring tied to the pharmacy. Grant was his enforcer, framing Aisha to distract from the real crime. The community rallied. Protests erupted outside the precinct, demanding justice. Grant was suspended, and Jenna's father was investigated. Aisha's charges were dropped, her name cleared. She stood taller, her notebook now a symbol of her fight. At school, Jenna avoided her gaze, her reputation in tatters. Aisha didn't gloat. She didn't need to. Justice was her victory. But the real shock came months later. Aisha, now a freshman in college, received a letter from an anonymous officer who'd been in the station that night. "I'm sorry I stayed silent," it read. "You made me see we can't all hide." That letter became her fuel, pushing her toward her dream of becoming a lawyer, to fight for kids like her. What would you have done if you were Aisha, facing a system stacked against you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever stood up to injustice? Share your story below. And if you believe no one should stay silent, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of justice and redemption.